If you can follow this episode without subtitles, your English is at least at the A2 level. And here is something interesting about that. You are improving your English right now, not by studying grammar, not by memorizing vocabulary lists, and not by sitting in a classroom. You are improving it by listening, by letting real English enter your ears and your mind in a natural, comfortable way. But today, I want to talk about the next step, the step that most learners find the most difficult, the most frightening, and also the most powerful: speaking. Listen carefully, stay until the end, and you might discover something that changes the way you learn English forever. Welcome back to iSpeak English with Bob. I am Bob, and this is the podcast where we improve our English together, not through rules and tests, but through real stories and honest conversations about things that actually matter. Today's episode is about speaking, specifically about why speaking is the fastest and most effective way to improve your English, and why so many learners avoid it for months or even years, choosing instead to keep studying, keep listening, keep reading, but never quite opening their mouths. I was one of those learners. For a long time, I understood a great deal of English, and I was too afraid to say almost any of it out loud. Today, I want to tell you that story, and I want to tell you what finally changed. For the first 3 years of learning English, I studied hard. I read textbooks, I memorized vocabulary, I watched English films with subtitles. I listened to songs and read the lyrics. I understood grammar rules that many native speakers could not explain. By the end of those 3 years, my reading and listening were reasonably good, and my speaking was almost completely non-existent. Not because I did not know any English. I knew quite a lot. The problem was that every time I tried to speak, something happened between my brain and my mouth. My brain had the words, my brain had the sentences, but the moment I tried to say them out loud in front of another person, everything stopped. The words disappeared. My mind went blank. I felt my face go red. I said something short and incorrect and then went silent, hoping nobody would ask me to continue. I told myself I was simply not ready yet, that I needed to study more first, that once my English was good enough, once I knew enough words, once my grammar was accurate enough, I would start speaking. And so I kept studying and I kept not speaking. And the gap between what I understood and what I could actually produce with my own voice grew wider and wider, until it felt like a distance I could never cross. The truth, which I discovered much later that I should have, is this: you cannot study your way to speaking. You can only speak your way to speaking. Here is the first lesson. Waiting until your English is perfect before you speak is the same as waiting until you can swim perfectly before you get into the water. It does not work. You cannot learn to swim by studying swimming. You learn to swim by getting into the water, uncomfortably, imperfectly, swallowing some water along the way, and practicing until your body learns what your mind already knows. Speaking English works in exactly the same way. Your brain already has the words. Your mouth simply needs the practice to find them quickly, naturally, and without panic. And the only way to give your mouth that practice is to use it, imperfectly, regularly, without waiting for permission from your own confidence to begin. My first real English conversation happened by accident. I was traveling alone in a city where I did not know anyone, and I found myself sitting next to a man at a small restaurant who did not speak my language. We were both eating alone. He smiled at me, I smiled back. And then, because there was nobody else and because silence felt awkward, he asked me something simple in English. I do not remember exactly what he asked, something about whether I liked the city, and I answered. Not well, not fluently, with a long pause in the middle and a grammar mistake near the end, and a word I could not remember that I had to replace with a simpler one. But I answered, and he responded, and I answered again, and we had a real, unscripted, unprepared conversation in English for about 20 minutes. When I left the restaurant, I sat outside on a bench and thought about what had just happened. I had spoken English to a real person in a real situation, and the world had not ended. He had not laughed at my mistakes. He had not lost patience with my pauses. He had simply listened, responded, and treated the conversation as a normal exchange between two people, which, I realized with some surprise, was exactly what it had been. That evening changed something in me. Not everything. I was still nervous about speaking English after that. I am still nervous sometimes now. But I understood for the first time with my body, rather than just my head, that speaking imperfectly is survivable, that a mistake is not a catastrophe, that the other person in the conversation is almost always more interested in what you are saying than in how perfectly you are saying it. Here is the second lesson. The fear of speaking English is almost always bigger than the actual experience of speaking English. In your imagination, the moment you make a mistake, everyone notices, everyone judges, and you feel humiliated and exposed. In reality, most people are far too focused on their own side of the conversation to notice or care about your imperfections. And the people who do notice, the people who are genuinely kind and patient, will simply wait for you to find your word and continue. The audience in your head is always far more critical than the real person sitting in front of you. Once you have spoken imperfectly in English and survived it, which you will, the fear becomes smaller. Not gone, just smaller and manageable. And with each conversation, it shrinks a little more. So how do you actually start speaking English when the fear feels too big? Here are the things that helped me most. The first thing is to speak to yourself. I know this sounds strange, but talking to yourself in English, describing what you are doing, narrating your day, arguing both sides of a question is one of the most effective speaking practices available. Nobody can judge you, there is no pressure, and your mouth is getting the practice it needs without any of the social risk. I used to describe everything I was doing out loud in English when I was alone at home. I am making coffee, the kettle is boiling, I need to buy more milk. It sounds ridiculous. It works extraordinarily well. The second thing is to find low-stakes opportunities to speak. Not a job interview, not a presentation. A simple exchange with a shopkeeper in English. A short conversation with a tourist asking for directions. A comment in an English-language online community. Small, real, low-pressure moments of actual spoken English. Each one is a small deposit into the account of your confidence. The third thing, and this is the most important, is to stop waiting until you are ready. You will never feel completely ready. Nobody does. The people who speak English confidently are not people who felt ready before they started. They're people who started before they felt ready and became confident through the doing of it. Confidence in speaking does not arrive before you speak. It arrives as a result of speaking. The only way to get it is to begin. Here is the third and final lesson for today. A mistake in English is not a failure. It is information. It tells you something specific that your brain has not yet fully learned. And now that you have made the mistake out loud in a real situation, your brain is far more likely to remember the correct version than it would be if you had only read it in a textbook. The learners who improve fastest are not the ones who make the fewest mistakes. They are the ones who make the most mistakes in real speaking situations and pay enough attention to learn from each one. Every mistake you make out loud in English is a brick in the wall of your fluency. Every conversation you have, however imperfect, is a step toward the version of yourself who speaks English naturally and without fear. That version of you already exists. It is waiting on the other side of the conversations you have not yet had the courage to start. Go and have them, imperfectly, bravely, one sentence at a time. So, that is episode 3 of I Speak English with Bob. Today, we talked about speaking, about why it is the most powerful tool for improving your English, why so many learners avoid it, and what you can do right now to begin, even if you feel afraid. Let me leave you with one practical challenge before you go. Sometime in the next 24 hours, say something in English out loud. It does not need to be long. It does not need to be perfect. Describe what you can see around you right now. Say your name and where you are from in English to yourself in the mirror. Leave a comment on this video in English. Even one sentence. Just speak. Just begin. And now your self-assessment question. How much of this episode did you understand? If you followed most of it, you are at a strong A2 or B1 level. If you understood everything comfortably, you are at B1 or approaching B2. Wherever you are further along than you were at the beginning of this episode, and that is always enough reason to keep going. Thank you for listening. I will see you in episode 4 of I Speak English with Bob.